I'm consistently asked, how can you get more energy and how can you get more brain power? My students are typically getting 3 to 5 extra hours of energy every day, and in terms of becoming more intelligent, they say that they have more clarity of mind. Now, this is all based upon the flow of oxygen around your body. If you stop breathing, you won't be moving at all. And so that's going to be the opposite of having a lot of energy. So the more that we can distribute oxygen around your body to your brain and to your extremities, then the more energy that you're going to have. And it's only blood and blood alone that carries that oxygen. Now your blood, it goes through your tubing, your vascular system, to carry the oxygen to your brain, which is going to make you intelligent, to your around your body, which is going to give you loads of energy. It's also going to be going to your genitalia, which is obviously sex drive, and it's also going to be going to extremities. So one problem I have with ladies is they complain about cold extremities. Well, you want to get more oxygen down there, and then you're going to have warm extremities. So the key to all these things is having more oxygenated rich blood getting there, and it travels to and around your body via your vascular tubing. Here is a model of the tubing that runs throughout all of our bodies. It is the vascular tubing that carries blood around our bodies to create energy, to create brain power, to create being young at heart, and to create intelligence. And this would be the tubing that would be, you would be born with tubing like this as a baby, and I have decided to keep my tubing like this, being very young at heart. But what happens, unfortunately, through an accumulation of wrongdoing over our lifetime, we start getting our vascular tubing looking more and more like this one here. So we end up with all that yellow sticky stuff on the inside of our vascular tubing, and that yellow stuff, that's hardening our arteries and constricting the flow of blood around our body. That yellow stuff would be made out of displaced calcium, scar tissue, calluses and fatty deposits. And this is what we would typically see in anybody. They are just doing this. If they're young, they're on their way, maybe not quite so severe as this, and if they're older, they've gone way past this and heading towards a heart attack or a stroke. Now, you don't need to quite have yet died of a heart attack or a stroke to know that you've got a vascular system like this. This is why I'm testing you, so you can reverse this situation. But when you've got a constriction of the vascular system, already you will be noticing a decrease in your energy levels and a lack of mental clarity. Perhaps if you're a lady, you're going to be experiencing cold extremities. Now, in this country we have 141,000 people dying of cancer each year, but we have 158,000 people dying of a blood clot in their vascular system. If that is a clot that leads to the brain, we're going to call that a stroke. If that's in the heart, we call it a heart attack. If that's in the leg, we call it thrombosis. And if it's in the penis, we call it erectile dysfunction. Now, what I promote to you is that first off, you find out what your rate of vascular clogging and vascular stiffening is, and then come to the conclusion that overall it's better to be alive than it is to have a heart attack or a stroke. And to get your blood vessels, this is what I'm teaching you here, how to get your blood vessels back to a younger state, so you've got a clear flow of blood going through them, and therefore you get more intelligent, you get your sex drive back, you get your energy back, you get your brain power back, and you avoid the heart attack and the stroke scenario. And that is what I'm testing you for. So here we have the device itself on our beautiful model Barry. Mari is testing him, and all it is just a blood pressure cuff. It's not a little bit more than that because it's a much more expensive device than blood pressure, but it just inflates and it's measuring the speed of blood as it pulses through the arteries. So it's just a very... Here is what we can see on the diagnostic, and this diagnostic test is in relation to how you are doing compared to the average person your age. Now remember, the average person your age is going to be on track to dying of heart disease or stroke. And so here we see there's a 35-year-old gentleman, and his vascular health is actually worse than his actual age. So he's age 35, but he's got the vascular health in relation to the average 36-year-old who's going to be on their way to dying of a heart attack or a stroke. That is not good. I mean, who in the world wants to be average? How am I doing with this? Well, check it out. Here's my age, 39, and in relation to 10,000 people who are average, that's the age of my heart in comparison to the average 14-year-old. So you can safely say that I know a thing or two about how to maintain young at heart and keep blood flow going through my body. And what that means is I am the opposite end of the spectrum. So someone who's dying of a heart attack or a stroke today, I've decided to do the absolute opposite to that. And that means I've got a ton of energy and a lot of oxygen going to my brain to enhance my intelligence and my memory skills. So you can see that very clearly. That equated to a heart blood flow of a 14-year-old as opposed to, there's my actual age, 39. If you would like to find out how you are doing in relation to either heading towards or successfully preventing a heart or a stroke in yourself, then I invite you to come and do a heart test with me so we can check in with your vascular system and see how you're doing and see if you need to improve or if you're on track with living a long, happy, healthy life. Give us a call and we can book you an appointment.